G'day guys, my name's Chris, this is I Ride Taz, and this is the VL250 bobber build brought to you by choppedandbobbed.com.au. It's at choppedandbobbed_inc on Instagram. Check out their website, grab yourself some really awesome merch, and make sure you use I Ride Taz 10 on checkout to save yourself some dollars. Today, we're going to start the process of slimming the bike down. I want to remove these side pods and replace them with some small K&N style filters. I want to remove the back seat, and I want to use a caramel wheel to take off all the stock stickering because it just looks lame to have it. I've already experimented removing the warning sticker from the tank with it, and it works a treat. So I'm ready to use it in a video and show you guys how to get those stickers off easily. Guys, I've never worked on this bike before, so it's going to be a learning process, but it looks like it's just a series of Allen keys to take these pods off. Bought myself a whole new set of screwdrivers, Allen keys, and a toolkit from Supercheap Auto. They're Tool Pro, really happy with it. Yeah, so it looks like the first one is a 4mm. Cool. That removes the cover. Just going to use a small blade screwdriver. Because there's a couple of tabs that need to be flipped up. Cool. So just a bunch of tabs. Just takes a little bit of fiddling to flip them up. A blade screwdriver helps, but don't be too harsh because you might snap them. There's the oiled filter. And it looks like it's a Phillips head just to get the filter housing off. How's that going? Yep. Pull that off. I was going to be all professional and use a stool. It's just a pain in the bum, so I'm just going to go back to the cushion to protect my knees. I can move around a lot easier. Just a Phillips head. Yeah, that is simply it. Cool. So that removes the pod. Already looking better, but we've got some K&N style filters to put on there. Just bear with me for a second. Guys, initially we're just going to use a K&N style pod filter. These are 48mm. Doesn't really matter what you buy as long as it's a 48mm internal diameter to fit on the airbox there. And then again, we're just using the Phillips head to lock it down. Doesn't need to be so tight that it crushes everything, but tight enough to hold on. We'll just go around the other side and do the other one. So again, just a 48mm Canon style pod filter. Cool. Guys, when we took the left pod off, we saw a canister that I disconnected a hose from. Initially, I thought that might have been part of the sort of charcoal canister emissions gear and things like that, but it had a vacuum hose to it, which was a bit unusual. So I did some research, and it's a vacuum air valve that opens and closes in response to the throttle to help prevent D-cell popping on the stock bike. So, because it's vacuum, we had created a vacuum leak, which was making the bike just hang on revs and things like that. So I've just popped the screw in. That screw is held in by a cable tie, which looks a little bit sketch, but it sits right up in underneath the tank. So no one's ever gonna know, and it'll just help the bike run better. I just wanted to show you the idle screw. There it is there. That's what you're adjusting on the left-hand side of the bike. And there is your pilot screw on the right-hand side of the bike. This may not be exposed if the bike has never been messed with. There might be a brass plug in that. You just drill through it with a very small drill bit and then pull back, and it will pop out to expose that screw. But that's your pilot screw. That one alters the air fuel. And that's your idle screw, guys. So you can't just bang a pod filter on a bike and expect it to run as well as stock, because you're adding more air. You need to add more fuel. You need to richen it up or fatten it up to make sure that you've got enough fuel in the atomization to get the bike to run properly. If you don't, it will run lean, so it'll have more air in the air-fuel ratio, and the bike will stutter, it will bog down, and in the worst-case scenario, it will overheat and potentially damage the bike. So the easiest way to do that is to initially mess with the pilot screw to make the mixture richer on the pilot. On a BS26, on an XV250, sorry, this is a Mikuni BS26 Carby, on an XV250 with pod modifications, you start with 1 3/4. I've got no idea about a Suzuki Intruder LC, but we're going to start with 1 3/4 to see where we're at there. So we turn it clockwise, which makes it leaner. So you're winding it in until it lightly seats. You don't want to jam it down because you can damage the point of the needle, and therefore you damage the laminar flow and you mess it up. So just lightly seat it. If you can't see this brass screw, there might be a cap there. You might just have to get a very small drill bit, drill through gently, and then pull that cap out. Stock, the bike has a cap on it to stop people messing with it and messing up the sort of lean rich mixture, prevent damage, prevent the bike from running poorly. So if you can't see that brass screw, then ultimately you're going to have to expose it by drilling out the plug. Okay. The first thing to do is we've wound it in, we'll wind it out 1 3/4 for our stud. So it's half, 1, half, 3/4. And we will start the bike. The bike has to be up to operating temperature. reach to the other side of the bike. Find your idle screw and turn the idle right down until the bike really struggles. It'll be much easier to do this if it's barely running. Okay, you can hear it? Yeah. Won't start, so just turn the idle up a bit. So right there you can see how you can mess up and change how well the bike runs to a point where it won't. So just be careful here. So yeah, turn it down. It's struggling there, but it's running. Okay, so we're going to lift it off idle. And we'll wind this anti-clockwise, making it richer, and we're listening for peak RPM. Yeah, you can hear it stumbling a little bit there, so we'll go back a quarter. It's actually really close to 1 3/4 right for this bike. You can hear it. It's responding immediately to throttle. Yeah, that's about perfect there. So we're gonna just increase the idle. Till it doesn't struggle. Sounds about right. Bike's idling nicely, smoothly, not stumbling. Yeah, that's it there. It's very close to 1 3/4 being about right for this, but it's not set in cement. It's different for each bike. So guys, just to recap, we wind it in until it seats, and then you wind it out 1 3/4 turns for a start, and then from there you keep adjusting until you find peak RPM. And then you're turning it anti-clockwise here, you're richening it, and you'll hear it drop off the back of the peak RPM, so it'll start to stumble and rev lower, and then at that point you wind it in, you wind it clockwise 1/4 of a turn, and then from there you go to the other side of the bike and you use the idle screw to reset your idle back to normal. That's all there is to it, but it is a dark art, and if you get it right, yeah, I think we've got it right there. The bike sounds great. It responds to throttle perfectly. It drops back to idle perfectly. Yeah, I'm real happy with that. That's so 1 3/4 seems to be about right to start for pod modifications with the stock airbox on a VL250. Yeah, that's cool. Let's get on with some other things. Guys, this device goes onto the drill. It was $18 from Supercheap. It's called a caramel wheel. It's like a big eraser, and you can use it to remove stickers and pinstriping vinyl from cars and motorcycles. You don't want it to spin too quick because it can burn the paint, and it's only going to work if your stickers are above clear coat. If they've been clear coated over, this is not the technique to use. But ultimately, that's sort of all there is to it. I use this citrus orange power to remove the residue. And sometimes you just need to go over it again. But that is the quickest and easiest way to remove stickers from a motorcycle I've found. So someone's had a fair go at the bike back here. You can see the paint's real scuffed up, and I reckon that's because someone's removed a sticker here with a razor blade. This is rounded out, but oh yeah, it's gone in. It's a 6. Oh yeah. So we cracked that, even though it's pretty heavily chopped up and rounded out. Cool. Just gonna throw that in there for a sec. Use the key to pop the seat off, and there's 2 10mm here. It's going to use a 10mm spanner. There's the seat off, and we'll just put those back in. Yep. And this is just a paint pen from the hardware shop. Amazing tool for touching up. For us, it won't matter that this is a little bit chopped up because we plan on removing this and sort of messing with this down the track anyway. But yeah, it doesn't pay to make it look as good as it can be at any given point. So these Anchor black paint markers are just extraordinarily useful for touching up bikes. I use them on my cars as well. Guys, that was a lot of fun. I'm really actually quite stoked with how we got it to run. The proof will be in the pudding on a road test, but my gut feeling is that we adjusted that perfectly. It responds to throttle, there's no hang, there's no stuttering, you can't hear it cracking or popping. I think we got it right, which is really cool. So for about an hour's worth of work, we took the stock air filter pods off and we put some cool looking K&N pods on to slim it down. We took some stickers off, we took the pilion seat off. Yeah, we just started the long process of making this look more like a bobber. Yeah, I'm really stoked. I can't wait till the next video, which will come out next Tuesday. Videos are always at Tuesday, 3:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Hope you can join me. Till then, go to choppedandbob.com.au and check out their cool merch. Make sure you use IROTAS10 on checkout. Like, comment, subscribe. Check me out on the socials, guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm out.